Want to talk about it?
I guess we kind of have to, right?
Let's talk about it. So Endgame is fracking phenomenal. Agreed?
Your voice is really rather silent there. Are you in awe?
Yes. Like, this movie was... It's my favorite movie of all time. I'll say it. I ain't ashamed. But yeah, it was... I cried. I screamed. It's amazing. Like, I literally, throughout over the past, what? I say 1, 2, 3 days, I've literally caught myself just sitting there just thinking. Saturday night, I dreamt Avengers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I dreamt the whole movie again. I'm not sure because I don't remember much, but I remember there was a lot of crying. But yeah, it was really good. There are parts where, like, the movie's 3 hours long, but to me, it didn't feel like 3 hours at all. Like, my heartstrings were being pulled that way. I was mad. I was happy. I was mad, sad, smad. Smad. I loved it though. It was amazing.
And then
it ended, and I was sad again because I didn't get to see it again immediately.
we'll be going again soon.
But yeah, that's my spoiler-free review.
So, going into mine, I will start with, mine's broken up. It's one of my top movies. I think it was a very good combination of 11 years of build-up. We haven't seen anything like it in theater. It was an event. The first part of the movie I put up to like an 8. Well, I'll explain later. The last part, 9.810. I mean, that was pretty much everything I wanted and more. And yeah, Avengers Endgame.
I'm about to cry again. Sorry, I was thinking of a part of the movie. I'm dead serious. So at this point, stop the video, go talk to your special person, anything, because this is going to get spoiler filled very fast.
Spoiler time.
Spoiler alert. Okay, so we're gonna count to 5. Can you count to 5? Ross will
We're going to count down.
Count down,
Yeah.
and then we'll start spoilers. Okay? 5,
4,
3,
2.
1. I love you 3,000. Oh my God, you don't know how much that tears me up. I'm not kidding. I was literally scrolling through Facebook today. I was actually mad because somebody said something that made me upset. And the next post was I love you 3,000. I was like, oh. So,
He's a father. He
Yes.
connects with that line more than I do.
yes. So we get to see Hawkeye having a barbecue with his family, teaching his daughter to shoot bow and arrow. And he turns to say something to his kids, turns back to his daughter, or he turns to his sons, turns back to his daughter, she's gone, turns around again and they're all gone. He's running around. It was so sad. I mean, that's literally how the movie starts. You're just like, oh. The movie actually starts 5 years later. So it's no like, he did the snap, they came up with a plan, undid the snap, yay Avengers. No, it's he did the snap, he did another snap, said F you, Thor cuts off his head, and then they just somber about for 5 years.
And then
We get great stuff.
5 years later, we get the hero of the movie a common house rat?
Oh yeah, it is a common house. Yeah, it's a
Hero
rat.
of the movie.
The hero of the movie's a rat.
He should be an honorary Avenger.
Yeah, he should lead the Avengers. But yeah, a rat is running across Ant-Man's console in his van for the quantum tunneling device and activates it and brings him back. And so then this Ant-Man basically finding out what happened. They see his daughter. She's like 17 now. And they have this little reunion. And then it cuts to Avengers. I can't do this. Like, I'm just starting to think. Like, they acted their butts off, man. Like, everybody's just... like, hey, life sucks. Cap's running a support group for people who are trying to get over the snap.
We had a cameo from Jim Starlin in that scene.
And one of the directors.
And one of the directors. The director was the one who was telling the story to Cap about how he's trying to move on. The bald man with the goatee who asked a question, that was Jim Starlin, who's the creator of Thanos. And so we would not have this movie at all if it weren't for him.
Thank you, Jim Starlin. F you at the same time, though. They come up with this plan to use the quantum tunneling device to tunnel through time to go back and stop the snap.
Thus, where the movie, for me, the large part of the beginning and middle is an 8 and not a full 10. Because time travel, figured it was going to happen. They did one of the better ways of trying to explain it. They at least explain that there can't be a Back to the Future type scenario.
Right.
You don't go to the past, change something, and it changes your future when you go there. When you go and change something, it spins off an alternate timeline, and then you can return to yours, but there's another one going on that is now different.
And we get so they go to Tony Stark to like, hey, we have an idea. We can't do this without you.
Yeah, we're not smart enough.
At this point, he has a daughter, and he says, "I love you a ton," and she says, "I love you 3,000," which I didn't notice, but a ton's 2,000 pounds. Tony's sitting back at home. You know, he just fixed his kid some cornflakes, or no, he put her to bed, and
Yeah, they had a
he's literally doing it as a side project. It's like, hey, let's see if this will work. And he solves time travel. Which, to me, was like one of the best Tony Stark moments. Because he's like, huh, I did it.
What do I do with it now?
Right. Because he has this family. He's happy. Now, he's not happy with what happened, but he has finally found peace. So they come up with this plan saying they can't undo the past 5 years because obviously any changes in the past won't affect their present timeline. So they come with the idea to go back in the past at specific points to collect the gems, bring them back to the present, and use it to bring everyone back. We have War Machine, Future Nebula, which is, I'll get to, Black Widow, and Hawkeye on Vormir in 2014 during the Guardians of the Galaxy. And Morag.
It's the best kept secret from all marketing of the movie.
Oh, indeed. The best kept secret. Fat Thor. And Thor's a fatty. It made me feel like, hey, see, superheroes can be chunky. Thor spent the last 5 years wallowing in his own self-pity and a bucket of butter. And he's put on some weight. Oh, yeah, but butter and beer.
Lots of beer.
Lots of beer. And so he's put on some weight. Like, he has love handles. And it's amazing. So, and he has this super long beard, and it looks like there's Cheeto dust in it, and greasy hair. Like, he's been through it.
Lebowski Thor.
Yeah, that's what we'll refer to him as from now on, as Lebowski Thor. So, Lebowski and Rocket go to Thor the Dark World. Cap, Ant-Man, and Iron Man go to Avengers. And then the previous four mentioned go to Vormir. Am I missing one?
Hulk is the one who goes to the
Yeah,
sanctum.
Hulk goes to Sanctum Sanctorum, and then the other. Oh yeah, Hulk's with them in the Avengers. He goes to Sanctum Sanctorum. So you want to break off on stones?
Um,
Damn it! Every time.
Same one too.
I know. I thought that you made me go paper because you think I do rock, but whatever. Go ahead.
My favorite, which was the Time Stone, which, as powerful as Hulk is, he gets bashed out of his body into the astral form by the Ancient One, and then he's trying to convince her to loan them the stone.
Stop. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
But there's something that happens there that we probably want to save towards the end. The explanation.
Okay,
I'm doing the Soul Stone.
that's fine.
Okay.
You gonna make it through it, big man?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I think I might as well go and get it out of the way.
Alright.
Okay. So who went to get the Time Stone?
Hulk.
I mean, the Soul Stone. Who went to go get the Soul Stone?
The four in the Guardians go back to Morag.
Thor doesn't.
The four.
Oh, the four.
The four. And they drop off War Machine and Nebula to get the Power Stone. Black Widow and Hawkeye head to Vormir. I hope you all remember in Infinity War exactly how you had to get the Soul Stone. Because Red Skull's there, and he's all floaty and talking in mystery. And he tells them, you know, you have to cast away that which you love most. And of course we know they love each other, which, I mean...
Platonic.
Platonically. Like, you know.
Uh-huh.
So, they're talking about it, and they're both like, I think it's obvious what has to happen. And yeah, you're right. So Hawkeye tries to walk towards the cliff, so does Black Widow. And then there's this amazing fight between the two of them, both of them trying to sacrifice themselves. And Black Widow pulls her Black Widow around the neck, down the side, up the butt, and ends up pinning Hawkeye on a cliff, and he's holding her hand, and he's trying to undo Splat. God, man, that was...
Then he got the Soul Stone.
And like... I know it's... I'm partially kidding, you know, with how emotional I am, but seriously, during that fight, them fighting over who's going to sacrifice himself, and then when they get to the point where, you know, it's obvious it has to be Black Widow because Clint's caught, the emotion on Jeremy Renner's face, it was deep, man. Like, and then when she went splat, and you got to remember, there's no way to undo that. So, anyway, he wakes up in the floating water with the Soul Stone, and he goes Back to the Future. Oh man, that was rough.
Let's go through the successful ones first, and then we will touch on Morag last.
Or Morag. Oh yes, Morag has to be last.
So now we're on Thor trying to get the reality gem while it is inside of Jane Foster.
And at this point, Thor is a complete wreck. Like this, Lebowski Thor is not a superhero. He is not the God of Thunder. He is a mess of a man-child trying to make it through the next 3 hours.
He gets slapped by a raccoon to try and get himself together.
And so we think that it works, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's go. And they start heading towards Jane's room, and he literally takes off the opposite direction. So you get Rocket going at it alone while Thor's wandering around the palace in Thor the Dark World. And
looking to speak to his mother see his mother one last time before he knows that is the day she ends up dying.
Right. And there's just this cute little cat and mouse scene where he's following her, you know, watching her, and you know, Frigga's she's a badass. So she figures it out very quickly that they're being followed and sneaks up on him. And there's this beautiful moment, oh God, between his mom and him where she puts the hero back in Thor. And about that time, Rocket comes running out of Jane's room. I got it! Being chased by the palace guards.
Rabbit! Rabbit!
Yeah.
It's a rabbit!
It's a rabbit! And then, poof, boom.
No.
No?
No. You're missing
Yes, I'm sorry. So
one of the most important plot points.
I am. I apologize. So
That-
then, as Rabbit... I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is like one of my favorite parts.
Go ahead. I apologize.
I'm just going to give what happens now, and we'll expand upon the big spoiler part of it later. So as you know, as of Infinity War, Thor has an axe now and not a hammer.
Stormbreaker.
And so while he's back in time with Rocket, he decides, especially after his conversation with his mother, to see if he is still able to summon
And wield.
Mjolnir. And to his surprise, he is.
His satisfaction.
His satisfaction
He's very happy
and
at that
surprised.
moment.
He was surprised too that he was
Yes.
still worthy.
I'm still worthy.
And then after having that, and now having the reality gem, Thor and Rocket go back.
To the future. Then we get to, let's go to New York during the Avengers. Or actually at the end of the Avengers.
Yes. There's two stones in Avengers Tower at this point. There's the staff and the Tesseract.
Which, what happens with both has some ramifications for that timeline. Let's start with Tesseract.
The Tesseract is Ant-Man and Iron Man's job to retrieve.
And so they had to come up with a plan for Ant-Man basically to infiltrate the arc reactor on Iron Man's chest, pull a plug, and give him a mild heart attack. And while everybody's distracted, future Iron Man would grab the Tesseract and just walk off. And then back to the future.
It was all going to plan until Angry Hulk from that timeline.
They made him take the stairs. And he doesn't like stairs. So he punched outside the door just as Iron Man's walking by, which knocks him across the room to bust open the suitcase and sends the Tesseract swiveling across the floor right to the feet of Loki.
Of our favorite.
Who then looks around, looks down.
This is the Loki of this timeline, right after he got his butt whooped by Avengers, when he's got the mouthpiece on so he can't talk.
He grabs it and fades back into a portal. So, boom.
Alternate timeline number 1 created.
So, that Infinity Stone is off the table because they don't know where he is, when he or what he's doing. So, then we get to the Mind Stone. And it's Cap's job to get that. It is currently being taken by
The guy who would eventually be Crossbones and
The whole
Agent
crew.
Sitwell and
the whole crew from Civil War.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, who were actually Hydra. They're taken down an elevator. Cap intercepts them.
On the elevator, we get a callback.
Yes, it says the secretary. I mean, it really looks like we're about to have. So, are you
Elevator
you're gonna
Fight
do this?
2.0.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Elevator Fight 2.0, and it is glorious. But we get something better, in my opinion.
A taking back of a line that should have never happened in the comics, done to comedic effect to get the job done easy.
So, Cap says that secretary sent him to get the Mind Stone, and it looks like they're about to fight when he leans over in Sitwell's ear
Yeah.
and says, "Hail Hydra," which catches everybody by surprise, but then they just let him walk right off the elevator
With the briefcase.
with the briefcase. Which brings us to one of my favorite fights in the entire movie. As he's walking down the hallway, he gets intercepted by Captain America. And this is at the exact point Loki had disappeared. So they assume, or past Cap assumes future Cap is actually Loki. And we get Cap versus Cap. I could do this all day. Yeah, I know. So great. Oh, so good.
the fact that as the fight progresses, it's pretty well even for a good part of it. But at the end of it, the young Cap, being a good 10 years younger at this point, and he is getting the upper hand on older Cap.
Has him in a chokehold.
When the older Cap says the line that he gave someone advice on earlier about how it just always freezes him up. He says to the younger Cap, "Bucky is alive," and the other Cap loosens his grip slightly, and that's when he gets the drop on him and is able to take him out and move on. It's older Cap using his experience and what he knows about himself to beat his younger self so he can get out of there.
So they get that stone, but they still have the Tesseract problem because I don't know if we mentioned, but they only have enough Pym particles to make a jump back to the past and back to the future. So they don't know where Loki is. They have no idea where the Tesseract is, and they have no way of getting more Pym particles. So they have to figure out what they're going to do. So Cap and Iron Man go to the only place where
Iron Man knows
where Pym particles and the Tesseract are in the same location at the same time.
And it's the 1970s, just 1970, just before his birth.
Shield at this point is the SSR.
No, it's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is it Shield?
Yeah.
I thought Shield wasn't formed until the 80s.
I don't know the full definition.
Pretty
It's
sure
at least, it's the location.
where Cap became Cap.
Yeah, and then in Winter Soldier, when they went back to that location in New Jersey, they found the underground bunker with the secret entrance.
That's where it's
and that is where it is at.
So we get Ant-Man, Back to the Future,
With
these two,
the Mind Stone.
with the Mind Stone, and these two, Back to the Past.
To get more Pym particles and
The
get
Tesseract.
the stone they are missing.
There's some good moments here. To me, it's not nothing noteworthy. The interaction between Tony and his dad that's great.
Well, it's also the interaction where Cap sees Peggy again.
That to me wasn't like, it was aw. Well, no, yeah, it is.
I mean, it's kind of
you're right.
important.
Cap sees Peggy and he's all teary-eyed and Tony has this conversation with his dad. It's all heartfelt. I think my emotions are dying right now. I think just as I'm replaying the movie, my emotions are just being torn apart and they're dying. So I'm getting to the point where it's just like I'm gonna get lethargic.
But this point was actually much easier for them to end up getting the gem in the end. It was more for the character moments than anything
Right.
time travel shenanigans, really. And so at the end of that, they're able to teleport back to the future.
So the Ancient One explains that while the stones might not exist in the present, time travel, they do exist in each one of these timelines. So when the Avengers go back and take one, it opens that timeline to dark forces being able to infiltrate. So Bruce comes up with the idea to return the stones to the exact moment where they took them. The Ancient One, even after he said, I'd bring it back, she still said no. Until
she said it's the Ancient One's job to protect the Time Stone. She can't
Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme job to protect the Time Stone. She can't just give it away. And then Hulk goes, well, why did Strange do it then? And
she goes, he's supposed to be the best of us.
Yes.
So
and
he
this
gave
is
it
with
away.
her saying Strange wouldn't be around for 5 years.
Yeah. And so she realized that if he gave it away and he's supposed to be the best of it, he had to have a reason. And so she's like, I'll trust that reason, and gets him to stop. And then he goes, boop, whoop, Back to the Future.
So
Then we get Morag.
yes.
So Morag, they're waiting for Peter Quill to show up so they can get the key to get into the tomb so they get the Power Stone.
Yes.
They get the key. Like it's not. They just bop them over the head, knock them out, and go take the power stone. But what's significant is apparently Nebula's brain works on a network, and this is a very specific network that only Nebula can access. But since she's in the past, her and the past Nebula share this network, and so past Nebula starts broadcasting the memories of present Nebula.
And this catches
Thanos' eyes. And so right before they head back to the future, I guess Thanos surges the network. They really don't say, but
yeah.
future Nebula locks up. And she
Right
can't
after
move.
Rhodey leaves with the gem, future Nebula falls over and starts convulsing.
And then past Nebula shows up. And they look different because future Nebula has gold faceplates while past Nebula has the matching. So she takes her faceplates to emulate her.
And finds the Pym particles.
And finds the Pym particles, which they then use to
Send.
pause. I just found a glitch in the movie. She only had enough particles for one jump back.
Yeah, she jumps back.
So how did
She
Thanos...
opens the portal to bring.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. But how? There's no particles. They need particles to jump.
There are now.
Cap,
Yeah.
and then returned with more particles. That's right. Okay, there wasn't a mistake in the movie. My bad, Marvel. But yeah, so she jumps back, and then when everybody's off assembling the new Infinity...
Hold on. This is where we spin off our second timeline.
Oh yeah, our second timeline.
Because Thanos and Nebula, this Thanos knows what happens to a future version of himself.
So at this point, this timeline no longer has
Thanos and Nebula.
Nebula, or the Requiem, his ship, or his armies, or the Black Order.
Yes.
They're all in the future because
We'll get to that.
yeah. So Iron Man assembles a new gauntlet. They're debating on who's going to do the snap because none of them can contain the power. When it's decided that the Hulk should because he says it's emitting massive amounts of gamma rays, which he's like, I feel like this is what I'm meant for.
I'm the only one who could feasibly survive this.
Right. So Hulk does a snap. I mean, and it fracks him up. Like he's like, yeah. And then
two things happen. One, they open the doors that start to close, shutting off.
That's second thing that happens. The first thing that happens.
It was all at the same time.
No, it was very specific. Because the first thing that happens was the phone call.
At the same time, Ant-Man was seeing the butterflies. That's how he was seeing more life left on Earth.
But he's getting the call, and he's answering the phone. You're right, it is at the same time. My mistake. Like, it is. I don't know why I thought like he was.
Because that was there were the two ways to show life being back. Because they had shown the planet was a little more barren, and after the snap, and so when they start having the doors open, the sun is high in the sky, and then Ant-Man starts to see like a lot more life teeming outside, little butterflies flying around the trees and some birds. And then there's a phone call
from
Clint's cell phone.
And it's his wife, and he answers it, and it's her, and that's how they know the snap works. But at the same time, as the blast doors are opening and Ant-Man's following the birds, he looks up.
A shadow is covering the sun.
And it's Thanos' ship that then fires. And, I mean, it hits Ant-Man right on. I was 90% certain at that point that he died. Like, he survives, but I'm not sure how.
He turned small.
Yeah, I mean, he turned small immediately and I guess avoided the blast because, yeah, blasts don't work when you're itty bitty. But,
Common logic.
Then Thanos proceeds to obliterate the Avengers compound. I'm not talking like pew, 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 few holes there. No. This man unleashed God. Lord forgive me. I take that back. He unleashed hell on Avengers compound. There was nothing left. So then we get all the Avengers basically trying to figure out...
Trying to survive.
Yeah.
At this point, they're all separated. Hawkeye picks up the gauntlet.
Because he landed near the gauntlet.
And he's basically all of Thanos. I always get it wrong. Thanos.
All the hounds from Infinity War,
they're
coming through the tunnels after Hawkeye.
And so he starts running, and then...
So they take the gauntlet and they're trying to get it away. They're not trying to get it to anybody in particular. At
this point, they have no idea what they're doing with it. They're just
Right.
trying to keep it from Thanos. So then we come to
the
big three.
Marvel's Holy Trinity.
The longest, biggest names in the Avengers universe. Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor.
Lebowski Thor, because he's still fat at this point.
So they walk outside, out of the wreckage.
He's literally just sitting there chilling like a G. He's like, "What's up? When we gonna do this?" like this Thanos. He knows from Nebula's memories that Thor kills him. He knows they're trying to undo his snap. So he knows he succeeds. He knows he's inevitable, and they still kill him. This is personal now. So, I mean, he has this double-bladed sword.
So we get...
I can't see nothing. So,
we get the final transformation of Thanos' motivations to being what it originally was in the old comics.
y'all just gotta die.
And originally he was the ultimate nihilist. And so all he wants is them all gone. He doesn't want anybody to survive. He will recreate life anew, but he doesn't want anybody with memories of the past because, one, they will refuse to accept it like the Avengers did, and two, they just really pissed him off.
So, fight starts.
So when the fight, we already have Cap with his shield, Iron Man armors up, and then we have Fat Thor.
Dual wielding.
First he gets into his new outfit, which is, his outfit fits him. He doesn't skinny up, he's still chubby. But he dual grabs both Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. And then he goes full on Viking when he transforms. His beard is braided, his hairs are braided along the sides. I think he's got the tail in the middle too, right? Yeah.
And
then it's on.
And they get wasted. Thanos is holding nothing back. They get their asses handed to them. I don't care. That's a curse word. Listen.
Iron Man gets this huge power channel on his back. Thor is channeling the lightning into him. He's shooting it all back, rechanneled at Thanos. Thanos is spinning his blade and it's not even hitting him.
So then, what had happened was, Thor comes in, and you ready to get there? I think we're there.
Thor
drops.
Thor is down. Thanos is trying to push Stormbreaker into his chest.
Callbacks.
And then
you see Thor do this, trying to reach Mjolnir, and you see Mjolnir lift up off the ground.
Hold on. Okay. So
hold on. I need a moment. I need the best moment, second best moment to me in the whole movie. It's tied. It's tied. I can't say that. It's tied. It's definitely tied.
So, being a comic fan, there's one scene I've been wanting. It's the scene I've been wanting in the Marvel Universe the most. You can ask him.
Boss. We all wanted this. This is his particular moment. Like, personally, this is what he's wanted the most. We all wanted this.
But I've been wanting it since Avengers Age of Ultron, where we saw it move. And we finally get, and they show us it's starting to lift, and at that point, some people. It was funny because I saw it click with you right then. Because the one thing I can say, because I've been waiting for this moment forever, as soon as I saw Thor grab that hammer in the past, I knew we were getting this moment. I was so ready for this.
I didn't.
I noticed you didn't click.
It clicked for me when I saw it start lifting. At first, I thought it was Thor summoning it. And I was like, my very first thought was, oh, he's going to smack Thanos in the head, save himself with it. And then I realized who wasn't in play. And then it clicked. And I almost had kids right there. Captain America, goosebumps. I still get goosebumps. Wielding Mjolnir, busting. He threw it at him, didn't he?
Yeah.
He threw it at him, knocked him off Thor, and it
brought
came
it right
back.
back.
And so you get Cap with his shield
And
Mjolnir. And he's treating it like a baseball bat. So he's swinging Mjolnir, swinging his shield, kicking, throwing his shield. Thanos will smack it back. He'll hit Mjolnir with it. It was tennis with Cap's shield. And Thanos was getting his ass handed to him by Cap alone. It was amazing. Oh my God, it was, oh Lord. So it's Cap versus Thanos by himself. Thanos is taking his sword, which is a beast of a sword, and just chunking bits out of Cap's shield. Just crumbling it. So, at this point, Thanos is basically telling him, I'm going to make sure this never happens again. This is where he's telling what Rolf just discussed. That this is personal. He's going to erase everything. And he wants to make sure that they don't have a chance. So he unleashes his army. Now, in Infinity War, we saw the Black Order and the Hounds.
Yes.
That was it.
His other army had been decimated back in Avengers.
Right. But this is pre-Avengers. This Thanos is from pre-Avengers. So he has everything. The Chitauri, the Hounds, the Black Order, tanks, the little flying things. I mean, and they're all just piling out of his ship.
Cap, standing there alone.
Captain America is the coldest on the planet. He doesn't go, oh no, I need help. No. What does G do? Tightens his shield. Let's do this.
Half a shield.
Half a shield, because it's all, let's do this. He's ready to fight an army by himself, by God. And then you know what we hear? Cap starts hearing a little in his comms.
And this is where we start to get
This is where
callbacks.
this is the fifth time during the movie that I cried. We hear, Cap, you there? It's Falcon. Sam? On your left. And one of the spinning portals opens.
And who was it?
T'Challa! I'm literally goosebumps. Look, I still have goosebumps. So T'Challa, Okoye, and Shuri walk out of the portal.
And then
a million of them open. And everybody starts walking through. You got Scarlet Witch. You got Spider-Man come swinging in.
the Guardians. Strange. You got all of
Wong.
Wakanda. You got all of the
M'Baku,
Asgardians.
The Asgardians. Valkyrie on her Pegasus. You got Pepper Potts in the rescue armor. Man. Thor finally gets up. Iron Man gets up. Number 6. No, number 6 wasn't a crying. I didn't cry. I cried out. So did
cried
Buddha.
out.
Did you?
I did.
So did Rolf. Did you?
Stone Cold.
You disappoint me.
His big moment was the hammer.
Yeah.
He cried out when the hammer happened.
Then we get
He
Cap.
went, yes! That's exactly how he went.
Avengers. Assemble. And they go. And they start wrecking Thanos and his crew. Oh, I remember what number 6 was. Number 6 that made me cry was Iron Man gets in a bit of a tiff. Here comes Spider-Man, and he webs everything away.
And then they hug.
And then he's no, okay, no, they don't hug. Okay, pause. So going back, there are 2 pictures on Iron Man's desk in this movie. Him, Pepper and his daughter, and him and Peter. Losing Peter ate this man up.
It's the sole reason he decided to help out.
Right. So when he sees Peter again, Peter saves him. It isn't that he's just happy Peter's alive. Tony Stark genuinely loves Peter Parker. He looks at him like a son. So he embraces Peter. And it isn't like, hey pal. It's like a father would hug his son that he knows is safe now. There's tears in his eyes. Oh my God, it's such a touching moment. And Peter's just like, oh, we're doing this?
This is nice.
And it was just a beautiful fucking moment. I'm sorry I said the F word. I apologize. But it was genuinely like one of my, oh God, it was great. And then more ass kicking. So then we get Clint, Gamora, and Nebula, because past Nebula's down now, she's just Nebula again, running through the battlefield. The Black Order really didn't do much in this. I mean, they did. Like, there was a few, like, you see them battling people, but they weren't, like, as prominent.
The big one was getting stabbed in the back a lot by Drax.
Yeah. That was great. So then Clint is basically getting chased by everything.
So then they finally come up with the plan. We have to get rid of these stones so Thanos can't get them. But our time machine was just destroyed and is under rubble. And that's where it's like, Ant-Man's like, wait, we have one other one.
Yes.
And in the middle of the battlefield,
he hits the button on his key fob. And his van that still has a quantum tunneling device is laying somewhere in the middle of Thanos' army. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. So we get Clint tied. He's still tied, running through the battlefield trying to get to the van.
and he's not making it.
No. He ends up dropping it. No.
He doesn't.
He ends up tossing it to the best Avenger, T'Challa. And T'Challa is running through.
Did you catch? You know T'Challa has heard his name once.
Oh, he called him Boston, didn't he?
He called him Clint.
Did he?
He said, Clint, hand me the glove or the gauntlet.
No, he said, Clint, give it to me.
Oh, yeah. And you know what he said when he first heard his name?
What? I don't remember.
I don't care.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Clint was trying to introduce himself, and T'Challa was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
he's such a G.
And but then we have the callback where he remembered it all. He took it in.
Yeah. So T'Challa takes it and proceeds to start running through the battlefield.
Like football.
Like football. He has the gauntlet in one hand, kicking, detonating, punching, slicing, killing stuff while he's running through. And then he gets...
starts to get overwhelmed. There's too many.
Yes, and...
he tags out.
No, he doesn't tag out. So
well,
Peter sweeps in. I got it, and webs it up, and then he starts running through.
Well, he doesn't start running. When he first gets it, he grabs it, and then he lands.
Right.
And then he goes, insta-kill mode.
And as the hounds start coming, trying to take it from him, his iron spider armor just starts killing.
Pinchers start coming out, and it's just...
and it's amazing. And by this point, Thanos has had enough and calls up to his ship, rain fire. Sir, are you sure? Our truce. Do it. And his ship starts blasting everything. So you have, again, everybody's there. All the students from, oh my gosh.
The Sanctum.
The Sanctum. From Doctor Strange.
Sorcerers.
All the sorcerers put up shields to protect everyone. So Peter gets, a blast goes off right next to Peter and he gets knocked away.
No. He's getting overwhelmed, and then we hear, hey, Queens.
Oh yeah. And Cap throws Mjolnir.
And Spider-Man webs on the...
Pause. Captain America throws Mjolnir past Spider-Man. And Spider-Man flips it and gets pulled out. It's amazing! Oh my gosh, I don't know how I forgot that. So,
And then he lands.
no, he doesn't land. And that doesn't happen. It looks like they're about to get blasted to smithereens by his ship when they get notice that something is just entered the upper atmosphere.
The ship stops firing.
And goes to aim upwards, but by that time it's too late. Here comes Captain Marvel. She's a G.
There goes Thanos' ship.
Listen to me. This woman doesn't just, blows off the guns. She goes through his ship. Does a Yui, goes through it again. And then again. And his ship just crashes and burns. By this time, Thanos has sped up. So she lands near Spider-Man, who then it happens where he swings off and he lands. And is it Iron Man says give him cover?
Yeah.
And we see my favorite moment from the whole movie. The A-Force assemble. If y'all don't know what the A-Force is, we see Okoye, Captain Marvel, Valkyrie, Rescue, Shuri. Who else was there? Wasp.
That girl with the pinchers, or the antenna.
The girl with the antenna, Mantis. All of them assemble and they start wrecking Thanos. And I mean, it was amazing. And then Thanos is like pretty much
Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, Scarlet Witch. Oh, how did I forget that? This movie has so many moments where I'm trying to recall all of them, but there's just so many. But Scarlet Witch, don't mess with her, man. Because she shows up in front of Thanos and
she goes, you took everything from me. Now you gotta remember,
this is past Thanos.
He has no idea. And he just, with utter disdain and just brushing her off, I don't even know who you are.
Oh, he do now. Best believe he does now. Scarlet Witch put this man through it. But finally he's had enough. And what did he do?
Captain Marvel took point on trying to get to the van with the gauntlet. So all the women start clearing the path, and then she starts flying dead shot on it. She shoots past Thanos without even a thought. When Thanos is like, shit, there's nothing I can do, he takes his blade, chucks it in front of her, and destroys the van before she can get to it.
That's what happened. So then it becomes...
when it gets blown, she gets blown, the gauntlet gets blown onto the ground, and...
Thanos gets it. He puts it on.
And
he does
first when he gets it, Iron Man starts fighting with him, and he bashes Iron Man away. Then Captain Marvel starts taking him on.
Oh yeah. And it looks like it's a good fight. And then it's like Carol had this moment where she realized who she was. And so
she's holding his fist open because the way they have this universe set, you can't use the gauntlet unless the fist is closed. So she's too strong, he can't close his fist. And so he takes his other hand and he just starts trying to wail on her face. What does it do?
Absolutely nothing. She's literally looking at him like, is that the best you got?
And he's sitting there going, oh shit. You can see it really quick go through his mind. The thing that I like about Thanos, and even with as overpowered as they've made him, where he's almost out of the realm of everybody here fighting, he realizes he's not. And he split second figures out how is he going to get her off him, because he just needs a second. He just needs to be able to use the gauntlet. So he uses his other hand, he grabs the power stone off of the gauntlet and charged up the hand and just bashes her off of him. She goes flying. He starts putting the gem back in, and that's when we have Iron Man.
So what you need to remember is this gauntlet isn't like made from, what was the place called? Nidavellir?
Yeah.
This is Stark Tech. This is Iron Man's armor with stones in it. And so he puts the stone back, goes to raise his hand when Iron Man interferes and grabs it.
They
And
struggle back and forth a bit.
not a bit. It's very quick.
It is.
It's really
And
quick.
Thanos basically bashes him off,
And
laughs, and
snaps.
after he snaps, he goes, "I am inevitable."
Nothing happens. It's Stark Tech, and all his tech now is nano. So when he grabbed his hand, he basically used his nanobots to sweep all the stones off the gauntlet. Then we get this great scene of Iron Man where you see the stones crawling up his gauntlet, up his
yeah.
nano suit, and locking into place. So Iron Man has the gauntlet. And
We end his arc with the way we ended his first movie.
oh, he says,
am
Iron Man. And we get the pan across the battlefield as Thanos' army, the Black Order, just start turning to dust. And then finally we get to Thanos, and he literally just sits down and he just looks defeated as he turns to dust. Cut back to Iron Man, and the entire right side of his body is burned up.
too much gamma radiation.
And he literally just collapses. And there's this amazing scene of
Rhodey gets there first.
Rhodey gets there first, followed by Peter, and then finally Pepper. And Pepper says to him, number 7. This is number 7. No, I'll take it back. I cried 8 times. This is number 7, but there's an 8th. I cried a lot, y'all. Like, a lot.
It was a very emotional movie for him.
But Pepper says to him,
Says, "We're gonna be okay. You can rest now." And then he fades away.
Iron Man dies. So it all takes place at Iron Man's funeral.
Beginning, yes.
We have
First, he has his little hologram.
oh god, made out to his daughter, and that's why "I Love You 3000" is so.
It's the last line of the movie he gives.
It's the last. Yes, Tony Stark's last line. He's
To
talking
his daughter.
To his daughter. He says, "I love you 3000," and then it cuts off. And she's just sitting there, and there's this great moment between her and Happy Hogan where he's like, "Do you need anything? Are you hungry?" She's like, "I want a cheeseburger." He's like, "Your dad loves cheeseburgers." He's like, "I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers." Oh god, it is rough, y'all. Oh my god.
We get as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
next.
we get Thor.
Leaves New Asgard in the charge of Valkyrie.
She's now queen of the Asgardians. And he
Shows up for a ride, which I hope is actually just being a part of the group for their next movie, but he joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I love that it is Fat Thor,
at this point he's still fat, y'all.
because we go back to Infinity War when Thor met the Guardians. Gamora and the different Guardians were in all at his ripped muscles. And that was when Peter was like, "I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna get a Bowflex." So we totally need Peter Quill training Thor in Guardians 3. That would just
On a
be
Bowflex.
on a Bowflex. That would be amazing.
We see Hulk Banner Winter Soldier and Falcon with Cap they rebuilt the time machine. And they're sending Cap back to return the stones from where they got it.
And Mjolnir.
And Mjolnir, because again,
they want to mess with the timelines as little as possible.
So Thor not having Mjolnir was a big problem. And the stones missing, an even bigger problem. So, Winter Soldier and Bucky and Sam ask Hulk, how long is he going to be gone? He's like, it'll be like 5 seconds. And so, Cap's like, I'll be back in a second, and he jumps back. And so Hulk literally counts up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
no Cap.
No Cap. He apparently shoots right by. And so they're freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on when
they see a figure seated over on a log.
No, on a bench.
On a bench by the water.
And they walk over, and it's old Cap. Instead of coming back, he went back in time to have a life with Peggy.
It's going to spin off another. That's the third timeline that we think was created.
And so...
And to be fair, and that also leads credence to the people who are going, well, how can Cap just sit there and do nothing if something bad is going on? We don't know that Cap did, because he's not in our timeline. He's in another one. He could still be doing Cap, but over there.
Exactly. And so we have my favorite moment. So Sam walks up to him and it's like, why didn't you come back? And apparently, Tony's sacrifice and seeing Tony with a family, he wanted that for himself. And to be honest, I agree with him 100%. He deserved to be selfish at least once. And so there's this great moment where Sam's like, I respect that. He's like, I just can't imagine a world without Captain America. And Steve goes about that and reaches down. That's where the shield came from, alternate timeline. And he pulls out the shield and tells Sam to try it on. And Sam, he says, how's it feel? And Sam says, like it's somebody else's. And Cap says, weird, because it isn't. And
Keep it together, big man.
I'm trying. Sam's like, I'll try my best.
That's why it's yours.
That's why it's yours. Listen, y'all. We're nerds.
If you didn't know.
We have been waiting for an event. And this is going to sound bad, but hear me out. We have been waiting for something to legitimize our obsession. Among each other, that isn't a problem. Now the world knows how we've felt all these years. Seeing Cap wield Mjolnir. We felt that. So did, for instance, my wife. She's a nerd now, but growing up she wasn't, but she feels it. People who have only invested in these movies understand how we felt our whole lives. Like, that is insane to me. So when I say, hey, did you see Endgame? To see somebody who I know was into doing their hair and makeup instead of actually reading a comic book, oh my God, Mjolnir Cap, it's galvanized. You're like, yes!
I've heard everybody either talking about it or going, no, I haven't gotten to see it yet. Don't let me know, because everybody I know is going to go see it.
This movie. Okay, so we gotta finish. I'm sorry.
And then we get one of my favorite little Cap being Cap moments. Sam asks, so you going to tell me about her? And Cap, with this little smirk on his face, just goes, no, I don't think I am. That's when that scene ends.
Yeah.
And then the biggest comic book movie blockbuster ever,
The biggest movie ever.
the biggest movie ever, ends with music from, 40s and 50s. A car driving by a neighborhood, panning into the house through the window to see Cap
And Peggy.
finally getting his dance with his girl.
If Infinity War me set a high bar. Endgame took that bar, formed it into a baseball bat, and then knocked any expectation out of the park. I will have to rewatch it to find things I didn't like, but I'm gonna have to rewatch it multiple times. But that is the best part about this movie, is I am going to rewatch it multiple times. This is going to be my. We all have that movie that we just put on in the background. This is going to be that movie for me, and I don't know if I should actually do that because I probably stopped just to watch it. Marvel really seriously outdid themselves. I'm sure that there's people who will find fault in it, people who don't like it. To those people, I'll say, you're weird. Your mama don't love you, and Lebowski Thor is amazing. What?
So, for me, I've been hyped for comic movies for years now. I go in and I get pretty hyped, and some of them hit me pretty big, some of them don't. But the MCU has been consistently great. I had zero idea how hyped I was until I was in that theater. And for the first hour and a half to 2 hours, I still, there were a lot of moments I liked, but I didn't realize how, with the characters and how much I needed some moments. And then when we got to that end, when we got to Cap wielding Mjolnir, when we got to Avengers Assemble, my body was literally tingling over. Thought I was dying at one point. I was like, but it was affecting me so much physically all over that I'm finally getting these moments. Everybody's getting these moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what. Okay, so our final review of the movie. Is it good? Oh, yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah. Would I see it again? Yeah.
It's a movie you cannot see on its own, but it's a movie that when taken as a whole of everything it's a part of, it's an experience we will probably not have again. Even if we get more culminations in their movies, I don't think...
There will be nothing that reaches the level of Endgame again. I said it at the beginning. There's now pre-Endgame and post-Endgame. I don't see any movie franchise doing this again. Unless it's a brand new story that we haven't heard. Like the saying goes, ain't nothing new under the sun, so kudos, Marvel. Endgame was the Endgame. Nice title. I need a drink, man.
Show me awestruck.
I feel like I need therapy. I feel like I should be part of Cap's group now. Discussing my villains.